It's time to take a TO. You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross. Each episode, we take you inside the DMV sports scene and beyond. Sponsorship and advertising opportunities are available. And now, welcome to this week's episode. It's time to take a TO. Here's your host, Kurt Cross, with Coach Steve Turner.
Welcome to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I'm your host, Kurt Cross. We are back for another episode 4 this week, Coach. We've got some great weather. You can find us on Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and just about anywhere you get your podcast content. We are a weekly podcast. We're here to talk sports and life. We might jump into some tough subjects. And, of course, we talk WCAC hoops and then some. Coach T, how has the week been, sir?
It's been good. Good weekend. They're always short.
Too short.
It's way too short. But it was a good weekend, hanging out with some friends who were in town, and back at it today at school. Back at it on I Street.
How's it going now? We haven't talked school. We're talking hoops. We talk NFL. We talk NBA. What's going on I Street with the scholars, the men's scholars of I Street?
Taking care of business. They got to take care of business strong.
Right?
As the first quarter is coming to a near. And our guys are working hard, and all the kids around the school working hard and locked in and taking care of business.
You know, we talk about so much when it comes to Gonzaga, the student athlete, not just at Gonzaga, but across the WCAC, across the country. Last week, we got into some stuff. Mm-hmm. The transfer portal on the college level, of course. We got into reclassing. We got into NIL. But how much on your staff, are you the guy who checks after them academically, or how does that go down?
I definitely check after them all academically myself.
Right.
But I have some other guys on the staff who help with that as well.
Right. And study halls are a regular part of what you do?
They are.
Okay. And what do we do down on I Street to make sure that the guys are getting what they need on that side, on the books side?
The big thing is regular check-ins, following up, checking in with their teachers. It's, and trying, what I try to do is just to get our guys to be transparent.
Okay.
Don't allow yourself to dig yourself in a hole. If you're feeling like there's a need of help somewhere, ask for help.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay.
And so far, so good with that. But typically, our kids come in pretty strong academically.
Okay.
And I find that they challenge each other as much as in the classroom as they do on the court.
Okay.
So when you're around like-minded people, a lot of times a lot of good things will happen for you.
Is that iron sharpening iron again?
Definitely iron sharpening iron. Definitely iron sharpening
iron. Well, let me ask you this. Because you play a varsity schedule and a lot of your games aren't until 7:30 or 7:45, is there a need for the boys, the young men, to miss much class? When you go to Riken, I understand they got to take off a week.
We don't
Riken is way down the road.
We don't have to miss too much class in terms of our schedule. A younger team is going to probably miss a little bit more
Freshman
because
JV.
they play earlier.
Right, they play 4 o'clock.
So if you're going to a place like Riken and it's a triple header,
right,
those guys got to leave a lot earlier to be able to get down there. But, that's what we work on, time management, being prepared early and not waiting to the last minute. But our guys are really good. If you see them on the road a lot of times, if you peek up in the stands, they'll be in the corner getting work done while they're waiting on their game, or if they're the game that was early, taking care of business before we jump back in the bus and get on the road to go home.
And it's got to be tough for some of those young men because for a Riken, those who don't know our geographical area, if you're going from Gonzaga to St. Mary's Riken, don't let it be a Friday game, and don't let it be at 7:45.
Well,
you got to leave it.
Well, we don't mind if it's a Friday game because then those guys have the whole weekend to get their homework done.
Right.
They're not worried about getting ready
for
Tuesday
game.
For the next day. But a midday game going to Riken, or even now going out to Paul VI, you got to prep in advance and make sure that you're taking care of the business and taking care of the time that's given to you and not waiting to the last
So on
minute.
the bus, there's some studying going on.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I got you. All right. Well, I have an announcement to make, Coach Turner. This is, we're going to stop the press for this one. It has come to light this week that Coach Casey O'Neill is now on the clock. We are waiting on you, Coach O'Neill. We pride ourselves on bringing in great guests over the years and episodes. We've had Caleb Williams, DeMaurice Smith, AZ Fudd, Steve Francis. The list goes on. But, Coach, currently, before we break into the vault of guests we have lined up, listen up, Casey, we must get you to appear in studio. We're not doing this phone call thing, right?
No phone call.
All right, we want to
come back and get yours. Take your seat.
Take your seat, and we got to get you on the podcast with us. So, Coach O'Neal, you are officially on the clock, buckaroo, and I called him out. Did I call him out, Steve? Well, Media Day in the NBA is today. You know, I've been locked into social media all over the NBA today. Dame is in Milwaukee. Your guy, Jrue, is now a Celtic. Marcus Smart is now in Memphis. We're going to get to all of that. Udoka is somewhere new, too. We're going to get to all of that a little bit later, but the NBA is just weeks away, Coach. My week was good. Homecoming season is here. The NFL is starting to take shape with some good games this past week. So let's take our first break, Coach, and we'll be back with this week's Starting Five. The Starting Five.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kirk Cross. And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. I am Kurt Cross, your host. What we have here is called the Starting Five. And what I want you to know about the Starting Five is I will ask Coach Turner 5 questions he's never heard or seen before from me. Coach, have I asked you any of these questions yet?
Sir, no, sir.
Have you seen these questions yet?
Have not seen them.
All right, he gets 30 seconds to answer each question. I think it's more like 30 seconds to at least begin your answer because we're pretty liberal with the dings over here. But if he goes over his time, that is what you will hear. Coach, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to hit you hard. I'm going to hit you hard, Steve, so be ready.
Bring it.
What is the best part about being Steve Turner?
Whew, that's a good one.
Right? See, I'm hitting you.
I mean, the best part about being Steve Turner definitely is being blessed to have a lovely wife and 2 great kids.
That's the best part about being Steve Turner. Notice I didn't ask about Coach Turner, but you know what? I'm going to give you a 1A. That was 1A. What's the best part about being Coach Steve Turner?
I'm blessed to coach at probably the best high school in the country and work with an unbelievable group of young men who attend the walls down on I Street.
What about those walking trophies? That makes it worth it, doesn't it?
Well, those walking trophies are always going to make it worth it, and it's something that gets to keep coming because every single year we got kids graduating from college and walking on into the real world, and that's something that makes me proud, really, as over the years I've had a chance to be able to coach a lot of great young men who are doing some great things.
Have you ever found yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Oh, for sure.
Can we talk about it? Or at least one of them. I'm talking Ocean City at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you don't know where your shoes are. Type of wrong place at the wrong time.
Nah, I've never had that. I'm always coherent and understand what's going on with me and around me. But I remember. I don't know if I can tell some of these stories.
You want to move on?
No. I certainly remember times being out in a club in college, and
right.
Fight breaks out.
Okay.
So you find yourself sometimes the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, that's good enough. I can live with that. What chore do you avoid the most?
Today?
Or in general?
Or in general.
You can give me when you were a kid, when you know your mom called your name, you tried to duck on this chore, or even now.
Oh, man, I hate cleaning the bathroom.
Okay. That's your thing. You don't want that to be your thing.
I don't want that to be my chore.
All right. What is still on your bucket list?
A lot of things.
Okay. Give me 3.
I definitely still traveling places, some places that I would like to go to. Italy, Greece, and Portugal probably would be the 3 countries I'd like to go and see.
All right, so that's the travel piece. Give me 2 more that are on your bucket list. 2 things that are on your bucket list.
I would really love to have a jersey. Julius Erving. I would love to be able to meet him and have him sign that jersey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That would be a bucket.
Dr. J.
That would be a bucket list.
Okay.
Definite bucket list check.
Well, you checked it. You get to podcast with me every week.
Well, that's we got back, so that's a beautiful thing. I'd say the last bucket list check is, man, I wish I could find someone that would gift me finishing my house the way that I want it done.
Okay, but you're getting there. You showed me some pictures
I'm
last
working
week.
on it on my own, but it would be nice
just for someone
as a bucket list check.
Just a wand and boom.
What, Steve Turner, we appreciate what you do. We're going to do this for you.
You want to be on those bus driver, move that bus kind of TV shows?
No doubt. No doubt.
Tell me what you've cooked in your life that it is best that you do not cook that again.
I don't think there's anything because I cook good.
Oh, so you do it right.
I can cook.
Okay, excuse me, Coach Turner. He does it right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting five. The starting five. Coach, let's jump into some sports talk real quick. Philly had our number this weekend, but let me just say, this is a Washington football team that showed more grit than teams of the past. You and I both know last year before, over the last 10, 12 years, we would have lost that game against Philly yesterday. Your only grape?
I wish we would went for it.
You want to go for two with no time on the clock?
Go for two, no time on the clock.
All or nothing.
All or nothing. At the end of the day, what did they have to lose?
Right, it's a game they were expected to lose, right?
I thought they played a great game.
Right.
Started off strong, finished strong.
Right.
And I thought in that moment, you know what? Why not?
Why not? You just want to go for it.
Why not?
Okay. What did you see from them that you would not have seen last year?
I just see a complete fight from start to finish.
Okay.
I see a team that is starting to, in my opinion, gain pride in each other.
Okay.
I see a team that probably feels like the changes within the organization is a breath of fresh air, and you're seeing them play for each other, and play for their coaches and play for the organization itself. Okay. We're just missing pieces. I mean, there's no doubt, or there was as a long time
Washington fan,
Washington Redskins football team, Commanders,
because that's the progression
fan,
right?
I like what I see, and I believe in understanding the build. It's not going to be an overnight, turnover. But let's see what I'm dying to see what we're going to do in the off season. That's really what I'm looking for
with this ownership.
What are we doing in the off season to get ourselves back in the race of trying to get into the playoffs? You see, I still haven't said championship. Get into the playoffs,
right.
And be a consistent contender in the playoffs. So I like where we're at. I'm excited for what I think is to come, and I can't wait.
Got the Bears this week. Bears are pretty sorry, but we're going to talk
Thursday,
about that
right?
in a minute. Thursday night game, yeah. This is what I saw. I saw Sam Howell, who people would have made him walk the plank last week with 4 interceptions or 4 turnovers, maybe his 3 picks and 1 fumble, who didn't let that faze him, that performance, and came back and gave us a strong performance. There were a couple passes he made that only he can make, and by the way, that out of bounds was not out of bounds.
Right. Well,
he made some throws.
With the throw to tie
send it to overtime.
Send it to overtime.
Yeah.
That's big. That was big time.
Yeah, that's a big time throw. And he didn't let last week faze him. I mean, that could rattle a young quarterback. 4 turnovers can rattle you. And 4 turnovers at home and getting your butt whooped like Buffalo whooped us. I was happy to see what I saw out of Sam Howell. I don't know if he's the answer. I mean, I love the Skins with all my heart. I'm just not an NFL guy like that.
I think good things can come with him. He's just got to we got to tighten that lineup and give him a little more protection.
Dog, he's played 5 games. Yeah. He started 5 games. So, I mean, when your point guard starts 5 games as a sophomore, if he makes varsity, I mean, you got to give him a little bit of rope, right?
He's going to grow, and you got to take the good with the bad.
Right.
When they're young and they're going to make some mistakes, and you go, if we're talking week to week, people last week would have gave him a D or an F.
Right.
Coming back this week, you got to give him at least a B+.
Got to. How about those Buffalo Bills? They put up a 48 spot on a Dolphins team that laid 70 on Denver the week before. I think they made a statement.
They've made statements to say that we still here.
We still here.
We still here. Like, don't sleep. We're going to be one of those teams that's contending. And, you know, they beat a darn good Dolphins team because the Dolphins were off to an unbelievable start.
And they scare me more than the Chiefs do. Chiefs hardly got past the Jets.
Well, the Chiefs lost some pieces, so
right? No.
I think they're still trying to figure out some things. But Buffalo, keep your eye on them.
And guess who's back to full contact practice? Von Miller.
Oh, wow.
And that's a piece they were missing. Yeah. A defensive piece, an edge rusher that changes the game. The Jets, I don't think they are as bad as we expected based on, not having Aaron Rodgers. They played the Chiefs close last night and didn't look half bad doing it.
No.
They didn't. Is it the Chiefs the Chiefs are still a great team.
I think the Chiefs will get it going before we know it. But they're the team right now that if you're going to get them, you better get them now.
Right. Well, how about, does Andy Reid get the credit he deserves? He's won over 100 games with 2 different teams.
No, he doesn't get enough credit, but he'll be in that hall.
And look at his disciple, Eric Bieniemy, who put up 30-some points on the Eagles yesterday, right? As the offensive coordinator for the Skins. So, I'm not a Jets fan. I don't think they're going anywhere, but I just think that a lot of us believed that the Jets would stink up the joint with no Aaron Rodgers. And I'm just not so sure they're stinking up the joint.
Nah, I don't think they're stinking up the joint. And I don't think they could go as far as they may have had a chance to go with Aaron. But I think there were a lot of things in place that are
around Aaron
that,
and they're still pros too, right?
That the quarterbacks, being able to have success with, and having a young guy in there, it's gonna, they're gonna take some lumps and some bruises right now. But I think the Jets should be happy about where their team and their program is right now.
So, there's many ways to look at sports and teams and all this, that, and the other. Some teams aren't as strong as other teams. But there are still 53 guys on a roster who were tops wherever they came from, and they're still pros, just like the Chiefs have pros, like the Chargers have pros, like I was going to say the Oilers. The Texans have pros. The Texans have been sorry for a while. But those guys are still making NFL money, and wherever they came from, University of Iowa, USC, or wherever, they were still the top dog in their position, and it's not like they're going out there week to week wanting to lose. Right? Those guys are fighting. So the Jets are fighting, and I give them credit for that. The Bears just can't win a game. How do you think the Skins are going to do against them this week? We've got the Thursday night slot. I'm going to go. The Bears just find ways to lose. I didn't see the game, but one of my guys that works with me said something about they were winning and blah, 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 and there was a turnover, and then there was a touchdown, and something happened in the last second for them to lose. Like, do they just have that kind of bad luck, or are they just a bad team? Where's Justin Fields and all this? Talk to me.
I don't want to just say they're a bad team. I just don't think they have all the pieces. But this, I'm gonna flip the script back to our team. This is a good test for us this week.
Okay.
Because this is a game that we should win.
Win what you're supposed to win, right?
Okay. And so, in some years past, this is a game we come out that we're supposed to win and we end up losing.
You don't know what you're gonna get, right?
And you don't really know what you're gonna get. So, so for me, I'm judging us even harder on this Thursday's game compared to what I would have judged us
with the Eagles.
If the Eagles had kicked our butts.
Okay.
Because this is a game that I think the way we've been playing so far, and I think we're a better team than them. This is a game we got to go get.
49ers Cowboys Sunday night clash this week.
Well, I know who I want to kick whose butt. I can tell you that.
The 49ers last year, Joey T, I was podcasting with him last season. He talked to me about how he feels like the 49ers are the most complete team at every position. They got Christian McCaffrey. They got Kittle.
My dog.
Christian McCaffrey had 3 or 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Well, he scored a touchdown in every game for the last 13.
And he made fantasy owners go crazy, right, with what he's putting up. We know who we want to win. Who are the Cowboys right now? They lose to the Cardinals. They whoop New England, who's not a terrible team, but they're not New England.
You're asking me about a team that I really, really...
So 10 times out of 10.
I can't use the words I want to use that I really don't care about. So anytime they can lose and not win,
right.
I'm able to walk in usually on a Monday feeling really good. But it's... they're a team that I think Dallas is a team that has a lot of the pieces that a lot of people would love to have.
Right.
it's a shame that they can't get over that playoff hump.
Right.
To be America's team.
Come on, Steve.
But I'm hoping the Niners
just lay it on them.
Lay it on them.
I hear you, Coach. That's our NFL talk. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word.
And now, back to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome back to Take a TO with Coach Turner. I am Kurt Cross, your host. Coach Steve Turner, as always, is sitting right across from me right here in the studio. I want to make sure you guys understand you can hear us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast content. Shout out to Buzzsprout. They host our podcast, and they make sure you guys can hear it wherever you want to listen to it. Coach, you mentioned something last week that I got to get to. We want to hear from our listeners. If you have a topic you want us to cover, Coach Turner is an open book. I don't know that, just so you know, let's break down how this works. When we did TNO, it was a little more elaborate because there were 4 people in the studio, with DJ Chrissy, of course, and Coach O'Neill. Now there are 2 of us in the studio. We have a mini pre-production meeting. Coach Turner, talks to me about what he wants to get to. I talk to him about what I have scripted. We do not talk about the starting 5, and we kind of go over what we're going to talk about. And Coach Turner expressed interest in, he wants to know what you guys want to hear. So if you want to find out about his coaching style, find out about what it's like day in and day out for 20 years in the WCAC, right? If you want to find out about that stuff.
25, but 20 is ahead.
20 is ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cheat you out of your 5 years, huh? Write to us, email us, hit us on Instagram. Let us know what you want to hear about, because Coach Turner will talk about it. I don't remember when I have mentioned a topic and Coach Turner said, let's stay away from that. Even when it came to tough subjects, we jumped right into it. Our best episode to date was when we talked about, what's going on in America from George Floyd to January 6th and all of that to COVID. We talked about it, and that was a great episode. So we will cover any base you want us to cover. Hey, Ron Perrell, I know you're listening. Let us know what you want to hear about, and we'll hopefully get to cover it on the podcast. Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner. We got to talk about something. We got to switch gears for a second, Coach. Let's get into the talk that I'm going to love talking about. You asked for it. You got it. The Las Vegas Aces will face the New York Liberty for WNBA supremacy starting this Sunday at 1:30, 2:30, I think they're tipping off. Your thoughts? Have at it, Coach.
Because of the games that I've watched them play throughout the season.
5 in total, including the Commissioner's Cup.
I need this to go all the way to the end.
That's my prediction.
I would like to see this game go down to the last game.
If it could be best of 9, I'd like to see that.
That'd be great. It'd be great. But I'm excited for it. You got some of the best in the league gonna go at it. Liberty have been a little bit of a thorn in the Aces' side.
Correct.
And the Aces finished it out, but they didn't look like themselves in that last game.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's a contrast of style,
right,
and it's going to come down to whose style can take who. But I think the big names are going to have to come up big on either side for them to win.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's going to be the big names we're looking at, but I'm going to go Aces in 5. In what will prove to be a defining moment in WNBA history. I think the ratings will be through the roof, and we will look back on this series as a moment in WNBA history that allows the WNBA to take a huge step forward. I think the ratings are going to be better than they've ever been.
I would agree with you.
I mean, the reason I don't think the big names are going to be what defines this, there are a lot of names on both sides. I mean, people, if you don't watch the WNBA...
Okay, so then give me that person who is going to lead the Aces to the promised land, because you said Aces in 5.
Right. Well, first of all, you know who I think is going to be? Actually, Candace Parker from the bench. She's not going to play. I think she's going to be the voice of experience, the voice that's going to hype them up, because, she's not going to play. She hadn't played since June. She had foot surgery or something. But, I mean, you've got arguably two of the best teams we've ever seen in the WNBA. The Houston Comets, they won 3 in a row at the inception of the WNBA. They were not to be stopped.
They were
some bad girls, right?
Some bad girls right there.
Yeah, they were. But arguably two of the best teams we've ever seen play this game. We've got the reigning champs, the 3 most recent MVPs, Asia, Brianna, and don't forget, John Quell won in 2021. She won MVP. But you've got Kelsey Plum. You've got Ionescu. You've got Chelsea Gray. You've got Vandersloot. You've got Jackie Young. You got Kayla Thornton. You got Stephanie Dolson. You've got every name possible pretty much. You got Sue Bird. This is what Sue Bird said. Sue Bird in a tweet said, I'm glad the WNBA script finally worked. Because, everyone claims that it's scripted what's going to happen. It finally worked, she said, and this is going to be This is not necessarily David and Goliath, but this is the clash of the Titans, brother.
This is old school Sunday NBA.
You talking Knicks versus Celtics type stuff?
I'm talking those Laker Celtics.
You're talking Lakers Celtics. You're talking on WDVM Channel 9.
I'm talking Lakers Celtics.
You did not say Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn.
Yes, sir.
No, you did not. The parquet floor?
But it needs to be.
Who you want to see?
Coach Turner and Cross.
Coach Turner and Cross on the call? You play by play or color? Please say what I want you to say. Please say what I want you to say.
I'm the color. You're the play by
play. Oh, Steve, I want a color. I want a color, Steve. I've done color my whole life. I've done state high school championships. I've done color.
Coach, if that's what you want, that's what you get.
No, I'll call it play-by-play because people want to hear from you.
Well, you know what we can do?
We just switch it off?
We can switch it up at half.
Oh, snap. No, you didn't.
Why not?
As long as I get to call when Stephanie Dolson's on the floor.
That's
all I want.
I knew you were going to go
Stop. What do you mean you knew I was going to go there? Do I get a ding on that? I want to call Stephanie Dolson, brother. But no, we got some names. The Aces went 2-3 in the 5 meetings against the Liberty this year. And man, oh man, if you never watched the WNBA, I'm accepting applications right now because you don't want to miss this one. And like Coach Turner said a week or two ago, if you don't watch, I'm keeping receipts. This is the series you want to watch.
Definitely the series you want to watch. This is going to be some great basketball. And we haven't even talked about the other piece.
What's that?
2 great coaches going at it.
2 great coaches are going at it. And no, I think Connecticut's coach won Coach of the Year.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Connecticut's coach won Coach of the Year. We're looking at something great. And Sunday, I'm glad the Skins aren't playing because, I would have to turn my back on them because I'm watching my ladies play.
I believe that.
You know me. I'm all about University of Tennessee. I was a huge Pat Summitt fan. I do follow Maryland women, but Tennessee is where my heart is in terms of college basketball. And so the game means a lot to me. I coached the girls' game for a while, coached the women's game on the college level for a while. You've always given credit to the women's game, especially the WCAC, because there's talent up and down. If Holy Cross is playing McNamara, that's going to be a game. If St. John's is playing, PVI, that's a game. Or, whatever. It's always a game. So like Coach Turner, I will echo what you said last week. If you really want to watch some good basketball, if you really want to watch some screens, if you want to watch motion get run the way motion is supposed to get run, go to a women's or a girls game and you'll see everything you need to see.
That's no doubt.
No doubt. All right, Coach, we're going to switch it up just for a second. Oh, your prediction. I'm sorry. I gave my prediction. 3-2 Aces. 3-2 Aces. What you got? Is Stewie going to be your MVP?
I don't know if Stewie's going to be the MVP, but I'm going with her in the Liberty.
All right. If there's going to be an X factor from one of the big names, I think it's going to be Jonquel Jones. You know what you get out of Stewie. You know what you get out of Asia. I think Jonquel she's going to have to rebound, and she's just going to have to. Every team needs a junkyard dog, right?
I'll say this: there are things that happened in this last series for the Aces that showed areas where they can be exposed.
Okay.
I would like to see if the coach took note and goes after them that way right from the jump. And I thought they did a great job of high-lowing them.
Okay.
And picking apart at them at the rim. And I think you got a woman like Stewie.
She
can play facing the basket. She can play
back to the basket.
She's a great passer. I don't think that's something that she gets enough credit for.
Okay.
It's just going to be interesting to see. It's a contrast of styles. and I think we're in for a good one. But as I told you, all the way to the end.
You'll take Game 5?
I'm going with Stewie and the Liberty.
Sandy Rondello versus Becky Hammond. We've got ourselves, and Becky, like, she didn't get credit for being the baller she was, but she came out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but she came in, took those Aces to a title last year. Remember, they're reigning champs. Let's not forget who still wears the crown, Steve, all right? It's the Aces.
I understand that, but heavy is the head that wears the crown. It might be a little too heavy right now. Time to give it up.
By the way, shout out to Aaliyah Boston. She won unanimous Rookie of the Year. So I don't think that was any surprise. I mean, she came from South Carolina, crushing everybody all the time. She redeemed herself last year. We all remember her in tears after not winning her the year before, and she won last year. So, shout out to Aaliyah Boston for that. Dame is in I'm sorry, let's go back. 3-2. New York Liberty, you say 3-2. Aces, I say. We're recording it right now, so that's it. What are we putting on it, Coach? What are we putting on it?
SoCo?
A SoCo steak and cheese. That's good. That's good enough for me. A SoCo steak and cheese has been bet right here, right now. I'm going Aces. He's going Liberty. Next week, this time, we'll have a few games under our belt. And if we need to adjust the bet, if someone's feeling good about themselves, they might want to adjust the bet. Let's talk about Dame Dollar is in Milwaukee. Talk to me about that. He wanted out. They didn't get it done during the free agency period and all of that. But Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. I want to call him Dollar Dame. I just want to call him Dame. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck. What are your thoughts?
I like the 1-2 punch.
Okay.
I was concerned. I'm still concerned.
Okay.
You take away your glue, do it all guy, and I thought he was getting sent to exile.
Okay.
But flashed on my phone.
Mr. Holiday
is now
on a team that is the top contender in the East. Period.
Definite, especially adding him because losing Smart took away that defensive guy.
Right.
Now you found a defensive guy who also can get you buckets.
Right.
I like that. You got two guys. What they said averaged a 30 piece.
Right.
A year ago.
You got them on the same team.
On the same team.
My only concern there is they have a first-year coach. And that takes time to gel.
That does.
Even you, the great Coach Steve Turner, if you went to XYZ High School right now, you got to learn your pieces, right?
Well, with those two pieces,
they're not unknown entities.
They make me smart.
They make you look good, huh?
They make you look real good. I think they're going to be okay. I think I still got them as one of the top 2 to 3 teams in the East.
Absolutely.
And certainly, if they get clicking and rolling the right way, stay healthy, could be there standing strong in the end. But this year is going to be interesting with the changes that we're seeing. We still got guys not wanting to show up to camp.
Can you give me a second to get there?
I'm sorry, but because
they're doing their best Ben Simmons impression.
Want to dictate. I don't get it.
I don't get that either.
I don't get it. Like,
you're playing the best game in the world.
You're getting paid.
You're getting paid, brother.
Paid, and you're with a team. If you guys get it right, it's good enough to contend and go win.
Right, but are they now? Are they? They're no better than the third best team in the East right now.
But I think they're still good enough to beat anybody in the East.
Miami got to the finals, right?
And maybe they aren't because he's not all in. And that's the other problem.
Okay.
That's probably the bigger problem is you can't, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If everybody's not all in, it'll crumble.
Talent means nothing. It's what are you willing to do?
Well, a lot of times, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Right. The potential means nothing.
Yes.
Because they've got some good, the potential on the other side of the hallway in the Staples Center with the Clippers is through the roof. Mm-hmm. If we can't get Kawhi and Paul George to play together, healthy, if we can't they keep dealing with these, I'm not playing back-to-backs, it means nothing. What do you want to sacrifice? What do you want to do? And I'm not saying sacrifice being able to walk straight for the rest of your life if you're legit injured.
I understand that piece, but
I think Miami's no longer in the talk. They're no longer in the talk, especially since Jimmy done lost his mind today and went with a Prince / what's his name? Pimpin'. What's the comedian's name? You know what I'm talking about. Pimpin'. Cat Williams. Went with the Cat Williams haircut. Can we talk about his media today? His hair is straighter than Paula's.
I think Butler's just having fun.
Is that it?
I think he's having fun because one thing about him,
when it It's
I
time
don't
to
care
show
who he
up.
plays for. He shows up every
When
night.
it's time to show up.
He shows up every night for whoever he plays for.
Yeah, he does.
Whether he plays for a contender or a team that's in the bottom.
Right.
He shows up to play, and I have to give him the utmost respect for that. And that's why I enjoy watching him play.
Who you got? Him or Dame in the fight? In the boxing ring, who you got? I know who I got.
I'm going with Butler.
I'm going Jimmy, dog. I'm going
Butler.
Jimmy.
I don't think there's a lot of guys that want to mess with Butler in a ring.
Bill Cartwright.
He
Larry Johnson.
I'm going with Butler.
Over Larry Johnson? Grandmama?
Grandmama was big and thick.
Okay.
But
Stop.
I talk about.
Stop the press. Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley or Jimmy Butler?
I'm going with Butler.
Steve, you done lost your mind. We're going to take his microphone. Butler over Charles Oakley? Bill Laimbeer. Kurt Rambis.
Kurt Rambis is just crazy. I don't think he can fight. He just was stupid enough not to back down to anybody.
What about Jeff Ruland?
Now, I will say though, Oakley and what's my man that used to play with Oakley?
Cartwright was out there,
No,
right?
not Cartwright played with Chicago. He old man.
You talking about New York?
Talking about New York.
Who played with him over there? I cannot recall. Let me find one of those teams here. I'll look it up real quick. But what are you thinking?
They had it was like the two enforcers.
Oh, I'm gonna try. I mean, look at Oakley now. Mo Christmas in GQ magazine, all white hair, all white.
You know, he the Big Three coach of the year.
He about to be? Is he?
I mean,
Was he?
I mean, his teams are always right in the thick of that thing.
He's going to be 60 on his next birthday.
Years.
He's going to be 60 on his next birthday. When he played with the Knicks, I got to figure out who he played with on the Knicks, and let's get that roster up. But you got Jimmy Butler maybe over Oakley.
I don't think Butler's scared of anybody, so
that's dangerous, right?
He's crazy enough to fight any of these dudes.
Horace Grant was with him?
No.
New York Knicks. He was Horace Grant, Pat Ewing, John Starks, Anthony Mason.
That's
the way you're talking about?
Money Mace.
All right.
Those two together,
right?
Now Butler might be in trouble.
We're putting some things, we're putting a boxing ring together. I want to get to NBA. We're going to get there. All right, Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett wilding. He's just straight wilding.
Well, Kevin Garnett ain't scared of nobody either, but sometimes he writes a lot of checks.
All right, so tag team. I'm going Kevin Garnett and Jimmy Butler versus Oakley and Anthony Mason.
I love KG.
Right?
He a little light in the butt to be fighting them boys. Okay. Now, if you want to throw Debo.
Oh, wow. You want to do all that?
Take KG and throw Debo and Butler. I'm going with Debo and Butler.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Marcus Smart is in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I think John needs that. I think the locker room needs that, especially because at least 25 games he's not playing.
Right.
So what does Marcus Smart do there? Because keep in mind, Marcus Smart will play great defense, can get you 19 assists, but show up with, single digits in the points column as well. So do they have enough scoring that Marcus Smart's leadership in his brains?
I think they do.
You think they do?
I think they do.
That's a loaded West, bro.
But I do like what he brings to the table.
Right. I love Marcus Smart.
He can bring some leadership ability there. He can defend.
Right.
And ain't afraid to go guard whoever's best player is every single night.
You like Jrue over him on the defensive side?
I like Jrue over him for the fact that Jrue does everything.
Right.
Because Jrue can score the ball.
Right.
I mean, Jrue can go give you 19 if he needs to.
Absolutely.
But he talks. He's a defender. He's a guy who's not about self.
Right.
So I like what the Celtics added in him.
Oh no, I mean I think the Celtics are clearly the number one contender on the East side. But I think what this means, and people do not put enough emphasis on this, I think the ball doesn't have to be in Tatum's hands as much, which allows him to do some things and get creative.
Oh, it's gonna make it a lot harder to guard those guys when you got Brown on one wing and Tatum on the other.
And you also have Porzingis, who's no slouch. He stayed healthy last year. Steve.
He got to prove some things to me. I'm not
sold. Last year he stayed on the floor.
I'm not sold on him.
Okay, I'm not sold on him either, but he stayed on the floor, and now you have so much attention in other places. Maybe Porzingis can go get his man.
They don't need him to get his man. They need him to just be consistent and stay healthy.
So you need him to get...
They got two guys to be the man. They got three guys that can score the ball right now. They don't need Porzingis to score. Then can he go protect the rim?
You want him to get 10 and 12 a night. That's all you need from him?
I don't even need that many. Give me 10 and 8.
Wow, you don't even need the rebounds? I figured you would give up the points.
Give me 10 and 8. Tatum and Brown going to go grab rebounds, and so is Jrue. Give me 10 and 8. If he can give me 10 and 8 and stay healthy, they got you.
Is your boy still there from Florida?
Who are you talking about?
University of Florida. Where's number 30?
You're talking about
Horford?
Horford.
Is Horford still there?
I think so.
Yeah, Horford's not a bad piece. Not a bad veteran piece.
Another vet that knows his role and does his thing. And now Horford be knocking down the 3-ball.
And we've talked about all this, and we barely mentioned Jaylen Brown.
Coach, pull that roster up.
Oh, okay.
Pull that roster up, man.
All right, we're going to add Jrue because he might not be in there yet. And let's see what we got in Boston.
Look, the NBA better have the current roster put up the right way.
All right,
It
so
doesn't look like it either.
you're talking about, I don't know, this Bama, O'Shea Brissett, I don't know him, Jaylen Brown. I mean, you got Jaylen Brown who's dropping 27 a game.
Drew's already on there. They got Jrue on there. Al Horford is back.
So right now you've got 45 points between Jrue and Jaylen, right? You got another 10 in Horford, all right? You got Kristaps is at 23.
They don't need him to do that. He's not going to score that many points for them.
Mihalik, you got Pritchard.
Yeah, you haven't talked about the man yet.
If you let me.
That's all we worried about.
Okay, I'm sorry I forgot about DJ Stewart, okay? I forgot about DJ
Don't
Stewart.
sleep on my guy, Derek White, coming off the bench.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. Derek White is a bum.
Coach.
Derek White is a bum. He's a bum.
He's a good second unit guy.
Okay. All right. So is your boy from Germany, Schroeder. He's a good second unit guy. You ain't.
But he ain't not playing with these dudes.
But you ain't counting him in the mix on any team he's on.
I got to give Schroeder love. He went and kicked our butts in the World
Cup. He sure did. But you heard what I heard today.
No.
KD said he's in.
Oh, and you know who has a major interest?
Who's that?
LeBron's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to.
I'm not even worried about
That's
LeBron.
going to be a swan song.
Steph Curry. He's never done it. And today he said.
He's never played Team USA?
No, he's never played.
Well, that's it then. That's a done deal.
So I think he's going to do it.
So two guys are getting you 45, and you got Jason Tatum who's getting you 30. So that's 75 points per game right there. That's PPG. If you get another 15, 20 off the bench, you've got enough to win in the NBA.
Keep scroll back down again, Coach. I got to see.
What you got? You got Derek White, Jason Tatum. You got Jay Scrubb. He's at 6.5 PPG. Coach, I know you can go get 6.5 PPG.
But they don't need those guys to do that, so you can't hold that against them.
Kristaps. We're going to talk about Kristaps.
If he can stay healthy, hopefully he'll help us.
All right, but you got Horford. I think Horford, you talk about the X Factor. I talked about Jonquel Jones with New York. I think Horford is an X Factor. Horford can lead a second unit in terms of rebounding. I mean, he's at 10 and 6. He's at 10 for a guy who's like 800
Horford
years
can
old.
come give us the rebounds that Porzingis don't get.
Oh, when he gets hurt. All right, Horford is 37. Wow.
I like this group.
Horford is 37, but you got Jrue. That's the number. And we haven't talked about one of the reasons why you're high on Jrue. You saw him firsthand. Talk about that.
Well, I was blessed when he was coming out of high school to have a chance to coach him in the Jordan Brand Classic All-American games. And what I was so impressed about him then is what I see in him now.
Which is?
Most of the time these guys come to these All-Star games and they take it as just an All-Star game.
Right.
He came with all business.
Okay.
He was the hardest working dude every day we were in practice.
Right.
He brought it in a way that there was nothing else he wanted to do but win. Mm-hmm. And he's all about business. That's why he's in the league for so long.
And he's had an injury here or there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, health plays into all this. If Porzingis and or Holiday and or Tatum gets hurt, then we're looking at a different Boston team. All things being equal, this team, I hesitate to say, but should run away with the East.
I won't say run away yet. But,
you don't think so?
But I think they're at the top.
You think they're top dogs? All right. Is the East just waiting it out to see which one of these two teams gets to the finals, the Bucks or the Celtics? Or do you think Philly's going to have something to say about that?
If they keep Harden,
their DNA.
if they keep Harden and he decides to play,
okay,
then they're in the equation.
But you're not talking about a Harden who's 27 anymore.
I understand that.
Okay, all right. He comes in the camp. He's got a few extra pounds from the summer.
Yeah,
you got to lose that, right?
Probably.
Okay, I'm just checking. Miami doesn't even factor in.
I can't say yet.
Okay,
all right. We'll see.
All right. What about?
We know who the lead two are.
Wizards in Cleveland.
No.
How you feel about the Wizards? They got a bunch of average pieces.
We haven't made any moves to get better yet.
To get you excited?
No.
Right.
Other than hiring my boy, that's it.
Udoka's in Houston. What does that mean? Van Fleet's in Houston. What can Udoka do down there?
Well, maybe some of that is why Harden wants to go there and play with those guys.
He likes Udoka, you think?
Well, I think he likes Houston.
Okay.
Right. Whatever it is.
So Van Vliet and Harden down there, what does that look like? It looks like a team that's no longer in the bottom of the cellar, right?
No.
But I don't know if that's enough to get 41 wins.
No, I don't think it's enough to call them a contender for a championship.
Oh, God, no. So Udoka's got some work in front of him.
For sure.
Houston's been bad for a while. Did John Wall even play a game down there? Was he hurt most of that time, or?
I don't know that he did.
Right. All right. The NBA's policy.
But he's got a nice check coming every
No matter
pay
what.
period.
NBA is guaranteed money, brother. The NBA's policy on resting players. What are you thinking about that? You have to play a certain amount of games to be considered an all-star. If you have star status, if in any of the last 3 years you've been named an all-star, so teams can't rest them like they used to. They're just going to put them on the injury report as a legit injury. And Kawhi says today, there's no NBA new policy that's going to make me feel any better or make my body ready to play. What is the deal with Kawhi? Has Kawhi seen his best days, and does he need to consider an exit strategy?
I don't know.
I mean, I hear so many people, again, talk about when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are healthy. Like, I can look up, you know what? You talk, I'm going to look up the stat, please. What do you think about Kawhi and PG out there?
I think it's a test that keeps failing right now.
Right.
Certainly we know who they are when they were at their best. And I think a lot of people got excited about that. We've yet to see them play enough games together to get a feel for what it really could have or should have been.
Right.
So for me, maybe it is time to break those two up.
I just don't know, because they've had a lot of times, where they could have played together. In their 4 seasons is 328 games. Leonard and George have played a total of 140, less than half the games they've actually played together.
Time to break it up.
They can't even be on the court together 50% of the time, Steve.
That's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing. Not even close to a good thing. So I don't know. Kawhi, let me look up their ages while I'm here and see how old they are. But, Father Time's undefeated, right? Kawhi Leonard he's 32. So he's not, he's at the point where I would consider for elite players like Steph, that's still your prime. Kawhi is elite, but with the miles on his body and the surgeries, you're not in your prime anymore.
No, you're right.
You're not in your prime anymore. Let's see where Paul George has got to be older, right? Paul George is 33, and before the end of the season, he'll be 34. Okay. So you're talking about aging players who are getting huge contracts. But you know what I heard, and something I might agree with? The Clippers have to do what they can to hold on to these two, because they got to sell tickets to $1 billion stadium that they're building right now. And who's going to be the face of the franchise when they get the hell out of the Staples Center? You don't want to do all that based on the hype that should have been, and the stadium took too damn long to build. And now you're going in there with who? Your boy that, I can't think of him, that used to be a Laker. I'm going to get to him in 1 second. Where is he? His name? Zubac? Is that who's going to be the face of your franchise? You got Nicholas Batum, who's old. Brandon Boston Jr., I've never heard of. Terrence Mann, who I've barely heard of. Amir Coffey, he can't start on Gonzaga's team. Blake Griffin, is that what you're going with? Blake Griffin and Ivica Zubac. Those are going to be the faces of the franchise.
Well, Blake can't stay healthy either.
Marcus Morris, there's your junkyard dog. Oh, whoa. Marcus Morris? The Morris twins or Jimmy Butler?
Butler.
Okay, so we're just going, Russell Westbrook, that's going to be the face of the Clippers, because he's still a Clipper. They got DeAndre Jordan's not there anymore. Did he go back there? He didn't go back there, did he?
I don't think that's all right.
Yeah, let me see. There must be players who have played for them before, but let's click on the official LA Clippers roster. My internet, for some reason, does not want to give me the roster, Steve. All right, do I need this size of a roster? Good Lord. First thing that comes up is they want you to buy season tickets. Jordan Miller, Bryson Williams, Kobe Brown, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Boston Jr., Bones Highland. This man's name is Bones.
He's tough.
Kenyon Martin Jr. That's right. He's in the league. Amir Coffey, Paul George, Joshua Primo. This kid looks like he's 16.
Well, you got a young group. You got a fairly young group.
Oh, Covington.
But none of those guys are proven commodities to sell tickets yet.
Correct. So they got to hold on to somebody. Mason Plumlee. Please tell me that's not going to be your franchise face. Good Lord. How long did the Plumlees play in college? Like 37 years, Steve. They used up your eligibility. You were trying to go back and play, but you couldn't because one of the Plumlee twins took your damn eligibility, didn't they?
That's a family full of hoopers.
Right. Any thoughts on resting players? I just think it's unfair that a kid shovels snow all winter long.
I just don't like that fans pay for these tickets, and then they get there and this guy's is banged up or just decides he wants to take a rest.
Right. I do too.
It's not fair.
All right. Can anyone beat the Nuggets in the West? I like what the Lakers have done. The Lakers, they got Christian Wood, they got Jackson Hayes. They were able. How big is it for the Lakers keeping Austin Reeves?
Huge, because they got to have a guy that can knock down shots.
That's what we've been missing.
But I don't know that they can. I don't know that they can dethrone the Nuggets.
I think the Nuggets are the team to beat still, regardless of the team to beat.
But I do feel like I still see another run in LeBron before he hangs it up.
I feel like I do. LeBron passed the torch today. He said it today in the press conference. AD is the face of this franchise. It doesn't matter what actually happens on the court. Giving that psychological vote of confidence, what does that do for AD?
It's huge because he needs it.
He does, right?
You got to think about it. There was a few years there where we were talking about him becoming the face of the league.
Right.
And nagging injuries.
Being in LeBron's shadow
kind of stopped that from happening.
Right.
And now to have LeBron come out and say that, I like the vote of confidence.
Love it.
That it could, go into AD and we can see the AD that we all want to see.
I feel like I can see the Lakers and Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals again. I don't think I can see a path where the Lakers can beat them. I think I see the Nuggets in the finals again. And it's way too early, obviously. All things being equal, you and I are just cherry picking calling the Celtics. I mean, everybody and their mama's going to call the Celtics. But all things being equal, I see the Celtics there. I feel like I see the Celtics head and shoulders above the rest. I see head and shoulders above the rest.
Right now.
I love Giannis.
Right now, but I'm excited to see how it works with Giannis and Dame.
At some point, we got to get to NHL. We got to get to PLL. We got to get to that college basketball you want to talk about. And I'm not going to give too much time to it, but you knew it. You knew Oregon and USC would be problems for Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now let's see where we can go from here.
But I said Oregon would be the tougher one.
And it was.
And as you
they
saw,
got their pants whooped.
USC, and that's my guy out there.
Caleb Williams, he's a guest on the podcast, Heisman candidate. He was here with us.
But they don't have a defense, and that's why you saw Colorado make a run late and get back in it. I think Prime is doing it the right way. People can question what they want. They can call out the click game and all that other stupid stuff that they want to say to basically make a name for themselves. But he's here, and I expect that in next year's offseason transfer portal.
Oh, we're going back to that.
Colorado's going to be strong next year.
Coach, that's our time, brother. We're going to be back next week. I'm going to predict, I'm going to get my Nostradamus on. Before the end of October, there will be a sighting of Casey O'Neill in this studio. Coach Casey, you are on the clock. I'm telling you. Do you double down on that, Steve?
Oh, I double down. He's getting a phone call on the way home.
Oh, snap. Okay, so we done started something here. And you better come with your Buckaroo or Sheriff badge, too. Folks, listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast content. Shout out to Buzzsprout. Steve, thank you for being who you are, sitting across this desk and podcasting with me each week. You know what I have not done on this podcast? Shout out to Jared. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to Leah. What's up, Turner family? Shout out to mine, Paula, Chelsea, Adam, and all of our listeners. Steve, you close out the show.
Can't wait to be back with you guys next week. Please continue to support. Give us a little love. We got a lot more to bring to you.
We'll see you next time.
You're listening to Take a TO with Coach Steve Turner and your host, Kurt Cross.